today is Rav Zusha's Yurtzeit, and we're just being simple. Rav Zusha was simple. And our Ratzon is merely to connect with Rav Zusha's Neshama. The Yurtzeit of a Tzaddik is their Yom Tov. So we're going to connect to the special Yom Tov of Rav Zusha. For those who know, they know, I'm made in Yavin. And when we want to connect, we like to have our Rebbe with us, Rav Pinson, and Nigunim. So Torah and Nigunim, that's how we connect to Yiddishkeit. And Rit Hashem, we can help anyone who's listening, anyone who's watching. But at least we'll be Fabreingen here.
It's not at least and it's not only. It's this like
yeah.
Oh, that's why I know you.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam barich pri nafsho.
Amen. Amen. Want to start with the Nigan?
Yeah.
So we didn't write a set. That's normally we have.
Okay, this has to be more from the heart.
I don't know, I'd rather be able to hear some.
Oh, that's what you do. Oh, wow.
Another nerves.
So, talk loud. Something like that. So the Talmidei HaMagid, amongst the Talmidei HaMagid, it was famous that there was different tzaddikim, different Talmidei HaMagid. I'm not going to say who the other tzaddik is, but I'm just going to say about Zusha. It says about a certain tzaddik that when he looked at somebody and he saw what a normal person would see as something as bad, like a negative trait, someone doing something that's negative, he was right away able to turn that thing over and say, there's probably a positive side to that as well. So he was able to melamed zchus. Melamed zchus is to learn merit on the situation. You see someone that's doing something that's not up to par, and then melamed zchus to say, okay, we're going to see the merit in that person's action. But it says there, Zusha was on a higher madrega because he was not melamed zchus at Klal Yisrael. Because the melamed zchus means you see that there's a choiv, you see that something's negative, and you're melamed zchus, you're seeing the positive in it. And Zusha never saw something negative. There's no reason to see melamed zchus. It wasn't melamed zchus. He didn't look at the positive, despite the fact that he sees the negative. He's going to see the positive. He never saw the negative in another person. There's no limud. He doesn't have to melamed zchus. Every person says zchus, but after melamed zchus.
Is it kind of like etzem versus gilui?
Yeah, it's an atzmistic thing. It's an atzmistic thing. It's a very teeth of heart. Because you don't see that Zusha is melamed zchus HaKlal Yisrael. So you don't see in any of the stories that he's saying that Klal Yisrael, despite the fact that everything's wrong, they're still holding. He doesn't say that. He doesn't even see it. There's a famous story when a Talmidei HaMagid once came to the Magid and told him that he wants to, he doesn't understand that the Gemara says, the same thing, you have to make a blessing on the good. You have to make a blessing on something that's bad. Today, the Gemara says in the Olam Hazeh, we say, Baruch Dayan Emes, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say everything is positive. He says he doesn't understand this. He learns this, but he doesn't understand what this means. The Magid told him he should go to the Zusha's home. Came to the Zusha's home, and it's a little, little shack with a table that has 3 legs, and everything looks a krach, looks a bracha. Everything looks a little broken and everything. And he walks into the Heilige Zusha and tells him, and the Zusha says, "What do you want?" And the guy looks around. He sees this man has nothing. This man physically, he has little to nothing. And he tells him, "The Rebbe, the Magid sent me to you to learn from you what it means. Just like you make a blessing for the good, you have to make a blessing for something that seems negative." He says, "The Magid sent you to me? Why would he send it to me? I have nothing bad in my life. I don't have Ra." He's not a melamed zchus. He's not. Melamed zchus means I see that it's bad. Just like you make a blessing in the good, you also have to make a blessing in the bad. But there's some people who don't even see that it's bad. He doesn't understand what's the mavarchim al hara. There's no mavarchim al hara. I'm not making a blessing on this bad. Everything's good. This is the madrega of Zusha. Very, very high madrega. Very, very high level. He was able to take the teachings of Chassidus, the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, which the Nekuda, the Teres of Baal Shem, is the Ashkacha Pratis and everything, that everything is by divine providence. And it means literally everything's exactly the way it should be, always. Not in terms of your bechira, not in terms of your choice, in terms of things that are happening to you outside of you, that are happening to you. Everything's exactly happening to you exactly the way it should be, and exactly the way you should receive it. And when a person lives like that with such complete emunah, such complete faith in this idea of this type of hashkacha, and they're always living b'simcha, they're always living with joy. They don't see anything. They have to strive for that madrega. They don't see even the negative. Dr. Rebbe once said on Zusha, he was talking about Zusha. Dr. Rebbe held very strongly in Zusha. He called him Gana Goyim. We spoke about this a few years ago already. But another thing, Saratoyo, yeah.
Make sure people can hear.
Called him Saratoyo.
Can you
He
hear?
says that he's Makabal Torah from the Makara Torah. People are listening?
Yeah, yeah. Just making sure no one's saying I can't hear anything.
Okay.
From Belgium, someone's watching from Belgium.
All right, geweldig. In Belgium, it's not getting ready to the yard side.
It's true. Yeah, it's 5 hours ahead.
No.
Okay, all good.
Everyone's here?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We're really thankful, and Rav Zusha's thankful. Rav Zusha Ma'anapali.
What was Rav Zusha's challenge? Like, what did he struggle with?
I don't know. That's a very hard question. It doesn't look like he struggled.
Right.
It looks like,
He was
of
in a
course,
state of peace. It seems like he's in equanimity.
exactly. He's in a state of always. We don't know because the tzaddikim never wrote about their own journeys. They never wrote biographies. It's very unusual for tzaddikim to write about this. So we know the Fartik Reb Zusha. We know Reb Zusha when he's Reb Zusha, but what was Reb Zusha when he was 18?
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't know.
When were him and his brother traveling? They were already married?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And it was just a year, right? It was only a year that they
I
traveled?
traveled for like a year or something like that, yeah. Reb Zusha and Ben Melech was very, very different. Very, very different.
What were their parents like?
You can imagine.
It's like the brothers are so...
Yeah. Alter everyone said Reb Zusha on himself. I didn't see him about Sefer, so it was interesting. It was another Sefer, but it seems he's still having time. He said that
Seems reliable.
seems a reliable source. It's a limited word also. He says, "Was hab ich von mein Seichel?" What do I have that I'm so intelligent? Alter Rebbe. Was hab ich von mein Seichel? As is allemaal b'simcha. That he's always happy. If the tachlis is that a person should live with hashgacha, with the awareness of hashgacha providence, that are divine providence, and because that the tachlis a person should live with joy, right? So that the person should live with simcha. The person live with joy of connectivity, being connected to Hashem and realizing Hashem's presence in this world. That's the only thing a person is constantly in a state of simcha. So he says, I have to go through, the Alter Rebbe was saying, I have to go through all my seichel and work it out and develop it. And Rav Zusha has it, it's like his joy, his pure joy. So he says, what's other from them? What do I have from it? This is the Madrega of Rav Zusha, I don't know if we want to sing a niggun, but we should sing a niggun, but that's what to say before we get into this sugya. Rav Zusha's Gematria Shem Shakai. We spoke about this in the past, I think. But we have to talk about it, because that's the mamish, I think that's the connected this week's parsha also, right? The Eir Hashem, on Moshe, Hashem tells Moshe, the Eir Likim Moshe, and Hashem, that the Eir, the Avram meets with Yaakov, the Kel Shaka, Vishmi Hashem Leinu Dati Lam. Hashem Shaka is very prominent in this week's parsha. Hashem Shindal Yud. Sakin Mach Shaka. Hashem Shaka. There's a word from Reb Zusha's brother, Reb Melech. It's an interesting word. I've never seen it. It's room is in the Zohar, Pasha Shemaisim, also in here a little. I saw it by in Naim Melech. It's also brought down. I saw it by Label Eiger also brings it down. That Shakai is connected to Shaddai. It's connected to like a mother's milk.
The base Yaakov also talks about it.
Okay,
It's not.
yeah, it makes sense. It's the Label Eiger. It's exactly die. Die is exactly die. Want to sing it again?
Sure. Meaning that if the shekel would come out too much for a baby for suckling, so then it would actually, even though it's good for them, it would be dangerous for them.
Exactly. Too much is Rav Chesed. Rav Chesed means it's too much Chesed. It's overwhelming. The Gemara says in Tainus, when Chaim Maga says Rav Chesed, it's too much rain. It would be Rav Chesed. You can overwhelm a child. If the mother doesn't have enough milk, this child can starve. What is exactly the amount? The exactly amount that the mother gives out. That's exactly what the child needs. That's Shem Shakai. It's die.
It's a chesed mixed with gevura.
Correct. It's exactly the
Very
chesed.
natural. Like there's no, you don't have to do anything.
Correct.
Intuitive.
Correct. There's a famous. It's a Rashi. When Yaakov tells his children they're going to go down to Mitzrayim and meet Yosef, he says Bekel Shakai. And he says the name Shakai. So Rashi brings down Mishnah Medrash that me sha'amar lo'ilomei dai yom letzarasei dai yom dai letzarasei. It says that Yaakov tells his children that the one that said to the world die, which we think die means stop, yom letzarasei dai should say that my tzara should stop. But the truth is, if you think about this memra, this word of Chazal, it's actually a very strange phrase because Mish Amar Loilome Dai, the one that says Loilome stop, really comes from the Gemara. The Gemara says that the world was expanding. Means it was the spashtus of the world, an expansion of the world. And Hashem said, die. Sha'amar Loilome die. Hashem says die means stop expanding. Which means there's a ribui chesed, a lot of chesed, and Hashem says stop the chesed. Yomer Latzerase die, should say to Tzerase die, is actually the opposite. Tzerase means I'm having constriction. Not chesed, I'm actually having negativity. So Misha Amar Loilome die should say stop chesed, should say stop gevura. What's the connection? Stopping chesed means the chesed is overflowing. You stop the chesed. Tzerase means actually a constriction. So what's the die? So the answer is that die doesn't mean stop. Die means perfect. Bisham Lalame died, the Abishah that says the world is exactly perfect the way it is, just the way it is, perfect. Like Dayenu?
Nothing more than that.
Nothing more, nothing less. Yemel Tzarasi Dai should say that there's nothing more, nothing less. I got it. I got the point. I understand what the Tzar was there. Yemel Tzarasi Dai. The Shpa of Dai is connected to this awareness. That's what I'm saying with Rav Zusha. It's connected to this idea of this awareness that it's always Dai. It's exactly the amount that I need in my life right now. The perfect amount of chesed, the perfect amount of gvura, the perfect amount of balance. And when a person lives with that, and lives with that awareness of the shem shakai, that it's dai be'olamai, and a person is always joyous. The person always has joy.
Calls for an
Yeah, it's the
Shiva
It's good that I recognize it.
I don't even know if anything is on. It's okay.
That's one. Yeah.
How do you connect these two energies with, like, let's say the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who's like it's almost the opposite of you did enough.
No, this
Because that's something, it's like
That's-
something
no,
I
that's-
think about.
Oh, I guess it's
It's like how do you balance feeling okay I just did this
If you
versus
stop this versus like
versus I need to like double my efforts and do twice as much.
This is a very good shiloh. And it's a very good shiloh. The shiloh goes on many, many different levels. There's two ambiguous truths that there are in this world. And they're not a stare to each other. We have to learn how to somehow balance these two things. But there are two truths in this world. Two truths in our own neshama, our own being. There's a level which is called Yechidah Nefesh. The highest level of neshama, Yechidah, Yachid. The level of Yechidah is the madrega that it's built itnuah, it's beyond tnuah, beyond movement, beyond desire, beyond longing, beyond reaching out. It's shleimus. It is shleimus. It's a place of shleimus, a place of wholeness, a place of fullness. It's a place of Mashiach. It's a place of Dveikus. It's a place of Olam Haba. It's all these things that we're shoyef to, that we want to. That madrega of Yechidah Nefesh is that madrega. It's the nekuda hapnimiyus. You know, just like in time and in space, there's always this like the nekuda of space, like makom menahushnas kol elam kula in the Kodesh HaKadosh. That's the essence of space. The essence of space and the essence of time is Yom Kippurim in the Kodesh HaKadosh. So there's nekuda. The nekuda is lamaila. Is the point is beyond opposites. There's no the point. The nekuda doesn't have an opposite. It's just a nekuda. So in the place of the nekuda, there's no movement. There's no tnuah. There's no movement, and there's no opposite. That's why the bavua less than bavua. Like with the level of Yechidah Nefesh, there's no shadow of a shadow. There's a shadow side. This is from Mechaya, but the shadow of a shadow, there's no. Yechidah doesn't have an opposite. It's the nekuda of emes, of dveikus, of fullness, of completion, of wholeness, of Mashiach, of Olam Haba, of Yerushalayim. This is all that nekuda. In Zman and Makom and Nefesh, that's that idea. This is one mystic truth. And one of the things in Torah Baal Shem, certainly in Torah Chassidus, one of the big tradition, one of the big things that the Baal Shem came to reveal is this nekuda. That if you look in called the reign of Torah Baal Shem, look at the plain, straight up Torah Baal Shem before it gets to the Magi, before it gets to anything. This simply read Sivas or Vash or this the Svarim of Baal Shem, not the Baal Shem wrote it, but his Talmidim wrote it over. You'll see Baal Shem talks about revealing that madrega of the Nefesh Adam, that level of Yechidah Nefesh. You know, there's like all different types of stories where, you know, where the Talmud wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael and the Baal Shem was going to go to the mikveh, and he said that he went to the mikveh and he saw that it was immeasurable. Like there's nowhere to go. You understand? When the Kudas, there's nowhere to go. It's if you go deep enough, that's it. It's here. This is one emes, and one strong emes. The other emes is that on the level of Nefesh and Shamachaya, we're living from a place of pirud, from a separation, and we're constantly shoyef, constantly longing and yearning and trying to get bigger, stronger, more connected. So same thing also is even talk about Mashiach. On the highest madrega is Alam Chater B'Chayachim. There's madregas Mashiach in this world, right? There's Me'en Olam Haba in this world. Shabbos and Nekuda Me'en Olam Haba. There's Nekuda of the future already in the present. This is one of the big Chedushim Torahs Chassidus that want to reveal that future in the present. It's in the Gemara in Anayim asked Shaila, how can you say that Ozimol is Chayk Pinu, that laughter is only loss of love? A person is not allowed to fill his mouth with laughter. So the Gemara says that if you reach a madrega of Olam Haba in this world, then you could. What does it mean? That's Torahs Chassidus in its purity. To get to that place, to get to that nekuda. And then on the other hand, we say, we're machakalim, we're machakalim Mashiach. We desire, we long for it, we want it, it's a particular location, it's outside of this time, it's not us, we're working towards it. So we have to recognize that there's actually two parts of us. Understand? There's mamish two parts of us. And one cannot overwhelm the other. They always have to be in balance. Because in the madrega of yichidish b'nefesh, the madrega of shleimos, of atzmos, the madrega that you reached already something, you're a double shalom. You're ready. Everything's already perfect. From the madrega that of your imperfection, we're constantly striving and longing and moving and trying to always get better and more and stronger and stronger. And we have to remember that they're both emes. They're both emes. And somehow, paradoxically, they have to work together. How do they work together? This is the shayla. How does it work together? How does it work together? And so there's certain tzaddikim that brought out one nekuda, and certain tzaddikim brought out the other nekuda. And they all spoke of both. If you look through the Torah, you see they all spoke of both. And it's not a stira. But how do you do that? It's an idea of tzaddikim eilam menucha leilo ben mahaza, leilo ben mahaba. Right? Leilo ben mahaza, leilo ben mahaba. The Gemara finishes that, right? And the idea of the tzaddik is always, everyone's a tzaddik. That level of tzaddik is that eilam menucha, we don't have to rest. Leilo ben mahaza. Not in this world, and not in Elam Haba, not in the future world. So how could it be that we don't have rest in Elam Haba? If you say there's no Elam Haza, definition of Elam Haza is the journey. Elam Haba is destination.
Some people enjoy, even if they had all the money in the world, they would still go to work.
Yeah, okay, but I'm talking about Ruchni, so what does that mean? You say Elam Haza is the place of the journey, the longer, right? Here's the place of the shkifa, the desire. Elam Haba is the place of the destination. So how can you say that? I understand in the physical world, you can say, I have everything, I'm still going to work hard. But if you have everything in the Ruchnis, what are you working on? Or at least the question is, what type of work are you doing? What type of avodah is that? What type of avodah is to say that Elam Menucha Elam Haba?
It's like a gift almost.
So what does it mean? How do you relate to life that you're in Olam Haba already? That you have Nekudas Olam Haba, which is Nekudas Yechidah, which is the Olam Haba, and you have that level, and Elam Menucha Olam Haba. You understand? It's a shtickle paradoxical. This seems to be a paradoxical statement. That Elam Menucha Olam Haba.
Because you would think that Menucha would be a good thing.
No, you think that Olam Haba is Menucha, yeah. You get to Elam Haba, it's a Menucha, that's it.
But to have Menucha here seems like it's not fair, or it's not like...
So either way, or you can't have Menucha in Elam Haza, or you can't have Alicha in Elam Haba. You can't have both Alicha and Menucha in Elam Haba. It's like Elam Menucha, Elam Haza, and then they constantly go, Menucha is Elam Haba.
And by us doing like this Seuda, like it helps the Zusha and Shemayim.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a state of Menucha, and he's having movement by this.
Correct. So what does it mean, movement?
Yeah,
so
he's
we have
doing Menucha to us in our state of movement.
Correct. So what does it mean? I can't, there's no words to really describe it, because it's not describable in words. Either first you have to say a lot of l'chaim to understand it, or you sing a diggin. But the word is that it's a certain type of, it's a relaxed movement. No. A place that you feel b'syashvus, and yet a tremendous drive for more. But from a place of b'syashvus. How do you know if it's emes? How do you know if b'syashvus is really emes? You know that if you don't achieve it, let's say in a physical thing. Let's say a physical thing. You say, okay, I already reached the peak. I already reached whatever I want, the shleimus of a musician. Okay, that's it. I'm good. Everything's fine. I mean, I reached everything that I could achieve in this world in this thing. Okay. But I want to create mamash, the one song that's mamash going to turn over. Canada. I really want to do it. I'm trying, and I'm getting closer and closer, and I don't know how to write. Let's say you're writing notes, and you're writing on paper, you're figuring this out, and you're recording, and you're getting closer and closer and closer, and one day, a stick of fire or something comes up, and everything that you did for the last 3 months that you worked on this project disappeared.
Files are deleted.
Files deleted is nothing. You can't do anything. You can't get back. How do you feel?
Devastated.
Exactly.
That means you're not there. That's ease, yes.
That's ease yashvus. If you're beis yashvus, and you're living in a place that you take a shalom, and from the place of shleimus, you know that the Eibusher wants that you should have desire and longing and striving, and you're constantly pushing yourself. Then if something doesn't work out, you say, okay, it's fine, it's all good. Nothing like to change. I'm already shalom. The only reason why I was shoyef, the only reason why I was desiring and longing and trying to create some more, because that's what Hashem wants from me from the place of nefesh, ruach, neshama, chayim, the place of his period. I'm the period, I'm living in the place of period, and that's what Hashem wants from me in this world of period. Now Hashem tells me, by the way, it's chayim, a new plan, I don't need it from you. Fine, you don't need it from God. I don't care, I'm good. Yeah? That's the difference.
It's almost like from within, like if in your state of actual consciousness, you're settled. But your body's in movement, it's doing things.
Correct, your body, also your consciousness can be moved, but your innermost peace is mamish. Peaceful, but with a burning fire from one.
Right. It's like they're not concerned about the goal anymore. They're just enjoying the
And
process.
you could also say that about it.
We're
not interested in the results. The Baal Shem writes, there's a famous story of Baal Shem Parsalach, and Rav Tula, the boil of Teva, you have to enter into the Teva, it means you have to enter into the words of Oasis HaTorah, and you have to be there and present and push yourself and call Chayusko to enter into the Tefillah, and you're mispalo and you're double, and your mom is doing the biggest things, and he says, and after you do it, after you daven, just let it go. You shouldn't do Ian Tefillah, like, see, okay, what's going to happen? Let's see, my Tefillah is actually going to work out. They'll do something. Or let's say you talk to a friend, forget about davening, you talk to a friend comes to you, has a hardship, he's going through a difficulty, and the guy comes to you and he says, you know what, I'm going to really give my energy to this guy. And you spend 5 hours with the person, and you talk to him, and you give out your neshama to him, and the person says, Mamish, I chap exactly what you're saying, I really understand, I'm going to change my life. And you Mamish feel, wow, I just really, I gave my neshama to this person. And Baruch Hashem, the person's in the Kabul, and is going to be, and then you meet the guy next week, it's the dim nothing changed. Exactly the same square one. He comes back to you and says, the same problem. He says, what do you mean? Last week I gave you 5 hours. Don't make that cheshbon. You give your neshama out to somebody. You give your neshama out to this project, whatever you have to do. If Hashem wants you to help this person, and you could try to help him, try to help him. Doesn't work? Go back to him. Try it again. Or else the guy's a little dick. It's another thing. But if the person really wants to grow, they're not, and it doesn't yet chap, you push it. You have to be shoyev, you have to desire, and you have to long, and you have to want, and you have to want more and more, and never be satisfied. Not begashmis, not beruchnis, from a place of satisfaction. It's Chodesh Shvat. So there's a word. Chodesh Shvat.
Say hello to the cameras.
Hello, cameras.
Although I feel like that's the Indian of Rav Zusha saying he called himself in third person. It was almost like he knew he was himself, but he also knew that there's another self that needs. There's a Chassidic self and a Shalom self.
Good word.
Zusha, yeah. Because he always thought that he was Hashem. I thought about it. Why is it called third person? You say Zusha in third person.
Right.
That means that there's him, Hashem, and then there's a third person, which is his body or his needy self and his whole self. His self that's before Hashem doesn't need all of this. They're saying Zusha is hungry. Zusha's, let's think about it.
Right, some type of disconnect from that thing.
But acceptance that it's a real thing too. So it's almost like it's both. He's being minucha, but he's also knows that there's
no question that he was. Every tzaddik always wants more. What's a shaila? That's if you're a person, a person's a mahalach, right? It's not a mahalach. The difference between an angel and a human being is a human being strives. This is the definition of a human. He's a mahalach. He moves. He constantly grows. That's what other lama yivula. We're created to move, to grow. Created to be something, to grow. Adam is a tzemeach. So the Chodesh Shvat. So Chodesh Shvat.
I listened to your Shvat YouTube today.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Chodesh Shvat is Ois Tzaddik. According to Zekut, it's Ois Tzaddik. What's Tzaddik? So the word is a Tzaddik Oichel Seven Ashrei. So the Zohar Kodesh right, Tzaddik Oichel Seven Ashrei. The Bet Rishon Yechzer. Tzaddik Oichel Seven Ashrei. Tzaddik eats the Seven Ashrei. Simple interpretation. Tzaddik Oichel Seven Ashrei. Tzaddik eats to be satisfied. and he's satisfied. But a person that's not a tzaddik, the opposite of a tzaddik, constantly feels like insatiated, never feel complete, never feel whole. So the Zohar says no. Tzaddik eats from a place of savua. A tzaddik eats from a place of ready satisfaction. A normal person eats because there's a chesed, there's something missing, they're lacking, they feel depleted of something. Whether it's emotional, physical, whatever it is, something is a depletion. And from the place of the chesed, they're trying to mamal the chesed, to fill that chesed with food. Tzaddik eats from a place already that's satisfied.
Physically or?
Physically, they're hungry. Tzaddik is their relationship to the world outside of them, to the same word. Their relationship to the things that are outside of them that they need in order to survive is a place in savua. Is already a place from satisfaction. It's tzaddik oichel l'seiva nafshi. He's already satisfied, ready to begin with. But he's also oichel. He's eating. He's taking from the outside world. He's integrating the outside world. He's striving in the outside world. But he's coming from the point where he started from is already savua. He's already satisfied.
So it's almost like expanding, but not necessarily filling a void.
Correct. Not filling a void. So chesed. A person doesn't live with the chesed. You don't live with the chesed. If you live with the chesed, this is oil chesed lo yizba chesed. A person lives in the place of chesed. A person lives in the place of emptiness, of lack, whether it's existential, whatever this lack. Now, some people argue, which I don't agree, but some people argue that this is the human condition. We're born in the place. It's not.
But that's not on malam and tefach in the vel.
No,
that's almost within the vel.
That's mamash vel.
It's committing. It's subduing.
It's committing to the world of chesed.
It's bowing.
Ma oil chaser menucha. La Shabbos ba menucha means that we were born from a place of menucha. That the world is taka chesed, but we have the element of Shabbos within us, which is the menucha of the world, which means that a yid has this koyach of the shleimus, of the savua. Which means, yes, we can work from the place of the chesed, and if you're working from the place of the chesed, is oyev chesed, lo yisbut chesed. A person that desires money is never satisfied for money. What does it mean? Because it's a bottomless pit. You think, okay, I'm going to get this thing, and then I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to get this amount of money in my bank, and then if I have
Not that much. Just
okay,
a little
just
bit.
okay. For you guys back here, you should push it up a little stronger. You talking the Gashmi is talking kipshutli. Talk about once you get over the hump that you think already. After already you have $10 in the bank.
See how it's like never ending.
It's never ending.
It's never ending.
What do you have $1 million? You want $5 million. You want $5 million. You want $10 million. You have $1 billion. You want all of a sudden you said, "Oh, that's exactly what I wanted." Now, some people should need to.
And then your tax bracket changes. There's a whole nother.
Everything changes. Then all of a sudden you have to buy a boat. You have to buy a plane. And you have to pay for that. So it's like, that's another. It's like,
And the gasoline for the boat, and the gasoline.
it's a marbadaiga. So you think, okay, this is what I want. But the truth is everything, even with music, you think, okay, I'm going to write this piece of music and that's going to have 1 million hits. And this is going to be, then I'm going to think like I'm a success. It's not true. It's not true. You're going to get 1 million and you want 2 million. You want 2 million, you have 10 million. That shouldn't come from a place like, I'm chesed, and this, somehow, by doing this, I'm going to feel shalom. Through doing this thing that's outside of me, I'm shleimus. I'm shalom. And I need to do all this in this world to affect change in this world, to inspire people in this world, also to make a living, and also to provide for the family. These are all things that are shalom for me in this world. So I'm coming to a place that I'm shalom, that I'm whole, I'm savua. I'm shem shakai, I got it, it's dying. It's dayenu.
Muslim,
It's Muslim.
It's like, it's totally sweet.
It's totally sweet.
Also,
exactly.
there's a kavanah, right? Echad yishtabach is echad is dalid, and the dalid of echad is the kavanah between the chav and that in connection to yishtabach,
Right.
which is almost saying like everything's echad, so I'm just going to praise Hashem.
It's true.
Yishtabach shnei.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that what you're saying, Rav Pinson, Zach and I, this year actually has been a really big bracha. We've been releasing music more frequently.
Wow.
Because we've been pushing to just continue making, like, in a certain way, like I'm less stressed. It's less stressful when you're continually involved in the movement. You almost, it's mamish what you're saying, but I didn't even realize that's why it feels this way. It feels this way because there's this yichud taking place of you put aside deadlines. Let's just continue to create.
Right.
To continue to procreate music.
Correct.
Allows for some menucha that you're doing.
Correct. You're doing from a place of your being. You're place of your shleimus.
And our state of being is music.
That's right. You make music, so make music. Continue. You can go, and maybe just going to take care of the rest. And you're okay. You have to get a manager, figure out what to do. Okay, that's all the problem. But I'm coming from a place of shleimus. I don't need to do this.
Exactly. If we could let go
I
at any
don't need
moment.
to do it. I don't need to do anything in this world. Of course, it's the Torah needs something. I don't need to do anything in this world. There's a word actually from the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe said that to say that I need is kfir. To say that I need to do, today I want to do it is not. So I worked around Machlesias, and a Gronin once, one of my Shmim in Lubavitch, in the city of Lubavitch, once said like this, that because the Eibishter, the Boyer, doesn't need anything. Hashem doesn't need anything.
Allah chayfetz believable.
Allah believable. He desired something. Allah machshava. He had desired, which means he wants. He doesn't need. He's not totally in something. So if a person says that I need, he separated himself from the cause. He separated from the source of life. Because the source of being doesn't need, only wants. You want to be connected with the source, just want. How could you say I don't need? What do you mean I do need? I need that. What do you mean? I need to pay my bills.
You want to pay your bills.
You want to pay your bills. You're choosing to live in a mansion, not the villa. You're choosing to live in a mansion, not the villa. Then you're going to have big bills. But the Eibishter can give because you have bigger kalim and bigger wants, and you're going to have bigger kalim to fill the wants. You need to live in a shoebox. That's what you need. You need to live in some, in this corner. Pick a little corner. That's what you need. You want. You should want.
25.
We'll sing it again.
Yes.
We'll sing it again.
Chaim.
Your Nishmas, what's Reb Susha's father's name again?
I don't remember. Eliezer, maybe, but no, that's Rosh
Reb Zusha should be melech for us. He should guide us in our lives.
Amen.
And we're supposed to get it together.
Amen.
He should be davening for us and Am Yisrael.
It should fill out all the wants.
It should help us continue. It should help Rav Pinson, Mizrach, to continue to be mashpia, new Torah in the world. By the way, if you're looking for a book on the month of Shvat, I just started reading the Shvat book, and it helps you walk through every month to read Rav Pinson's writings on the month. And it should bless Mr. Hyman over here on Amazon. and Hyman should be blessed to help children learn music, Hashem, and to help them have an outlet. It's such an important thing for kids to have an outlet. And Mir Hashem Zachariah, we should be blessed to take care of our children. Amen. And to bring good nigunim that are enriching, and not just good music, but it actually affects like menucha in a person. Menucha nefesh, and also hiluch nefesh.
Exactly. Menucha and hiluch together.
Menucha and hiluch together. So Shnizka, okay.
Amen.
Maybe Eliezer Lipa.
Eliezer Lipa. Lila Nishmas Mishulam Zusha, then Eliezer Lipa.
A special father.
Mishulam Mishleimus.
Yeah. And Zusha's
Pretty sweet.
Also, Zusha Tevas Shever Oivim Machnia Zevi.
Yeah.
Which is like when you have the menucha of Reb Zusha, and you have the appreciation of this Hashkacha Pratis, and this ability to menucha and the hiluch, that itself eradicates all the mishigas and all the sadness and all the challenges, because even the challenges become beautiful now, because it allows for movement.
Yeah, it's a very relevant.
Definitely dealing with all these things.
Yeah, especially like when you're on your phone and it's just like infinite content.
Yeah.
You can just scroll and scroll and scroll.
Infinite listening.
And you're just like, next. It's like someone's like, your Zusha's like, stop already. Just stop. Get a life.
It's almost to that guy's world, this world of that they're creating for you. Enter your world. Anyways, but also connect to Arn and Neshama by connecting to him. I
venture? Your phone, you have a venture?
The phone does.
Okay.
My wallet does.
Alright, good.
That's some big help.
Alright, my records. No, but you guys should continue. I think if you want to
Might be out.
write a little.
It's interesting, Beis Shvat, I'm not sure it was your side, is one away from his actual name. Shvat is 311, Beis Shvat is 313, Shakai is 314. Zusha was Shakai. It's almost like he lived to be himself. That's really what he aimed to be. It's very
That's
interesting.
beautiful.
Thank you to Rav Pinson for joining us.
Thank you to the Rebbetzin as well for making
This is our Chassidic year.
This is Chazaka, third year.
Third year doing
Despite all the Shigas in the world, we're still able to do it. And probably more Yidden were able to be Zoicha to Fabreingen.
Probably.
It's actually true.
Yeah. So sometimes Kalkinosser is Lutakinosser. Sometimes you think something is the evidence. So,
Mitzvah Shem next year in Yerushalayim.
Yerushalayim Yaakov. Amen.
In the Ian Center of Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you.
But gaan we continue.
Yeah.
Just,